A warm welcome to AD4 TV Radio News Update, coming to you live from Abuja, Nigeria's capital territory. My name is Oyeri Oche. The Kuje Area Council in the Federal Capital Territory of Nigeria distributed 8,083 bags of rice, gari, semovita, and condiments to residents as palliatives to cushion effects of the lockdown occasioned by COVID-19 pandemic. Mr. Sunday Zaka, chairman of Kuje Task Force on COVID-19, speaking during the distribution of palliatives on Monday, explained the strategy used by the task force to successfully distribute the palliatives to households.
We received on paper and physical counting 8,803 rice and 8,803 condiments. Condiment comprises of beans, semo, gari, and other items. The strategy is very simple. We have 9-man committee at the local government level, 9-man committee at the world level. And the 9-man committee was so instructed to constitute 7-man committee at community level. The 7-man committee will serve as distribution committee. We write down their names and also distributed to each committee in numbers. We have about 25,000 households in Kuje Area Council, and the palliative given so far is 8,803.
Mr. Monday Turu, a beneficiary from Quarters area, while receiving the goods, commended the federal government's efforts to curtail spread of the pandemic. Turu described the intervention as timely, adding that it would mitigate effects of the lockdown on residents.
May I start by appreciating the federal government and through the FCT minister for this palliative given on to us today. We have long awaited for this, but I believe now that it came, it will go a long way to cushioning the effect of the hunger that has already eaten deep in the country for now. And I want to advise that there are most vulnerable ones in the interior. Do the best you can to reach out to them, even though we must appreciate the fact that the federal government have considered us.
In a related development, Nasarawa State, which shares boundaries with Nigeria's Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, on Monday recorded its first positive result for coronavirus. The State Director of Public Health, Dr. Ibrahim Adamu, confirmed that the result of one of the people in isolation returned positive. Despite Nasarawa State's proximity to Abuja, which has recorded over 100 cases of COVID-19, it hadn't recorded any case until this development. Similarly, the Ondo State Governor Rotimi Akeredolu, at a press conference in Akure on Monday, said the total number of persons infected with coronavirus in the state is now 8. The governor blamed the security operatives at entry points to the state for the alarming rate at which the disease increased in the state. He confirmed the state, which previously had just 3 cases, recorded 5 more coronavirus infections over the weekend. The 4th and 5th cases were reported on Saturday, followed by 3 more, which were discovered on Sunday. Gunmen have kidnapped Philia Henshaw, a former governorship aspirant of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) in Cross River State, Nigeria, along with 5 others. It was gathered that the gunmen abducted Henshaw late Sunday night at a residence near Hawkins Street in Calabar South local government area. The police public relations officer in the state, DSP Irene Ugo, confirmed the incident and assured that security operatives were working to solve the case. On a sad note, the former Speaker Jigawa State Assembly, retired Honorable Adamu Ahmed Sarawa, has died at age 66 after a protracted illness. The former lawmaker served for 2 consecutive terms from 2007 to 2015 during the tenure of former Governor Sule Lamido. He was the longest-serving speaker since the creation of the state in 1991. The deceased passed away on Monday night in Kano and will be buried at his hometown Gorun Daho of Kafin Hausa local government area according to Islamic rites. He left behind 2 wives and many children. We take a short break, but when we return, as many countries ease coronavirus lockdowns, Sweden shuts 5 bars and restaurants that refuse to observe social distancing rules. We'll be right back.
Mental health and the COVID-19. It is no longer news that the coronavirus disease is now a pandemic. New cases are on the rise and the death rates have increased. People may develop issues of poor sleep, poor eating habits, undue irritability, and uncertainty. Some may also start to cope with the use of alcohol, substances of abuse, and self-harm. While all of these reactions can occur in response to a stressful event, it is important to share tips to help people remain in optimal mental health. 1. Let's normalize the conversation. If you feel anxious or afraid about the virus, remember, you are not alone. 2. Don't self-diagnose. Just because you have symptoms that are alike to COVID-19 doesn't mean you have it. 3. Plug out and limit sources of information to credible ones. 4. Develop a healthy daily routine, especially as quarantine is ongoing. 5. Focus on the things you have control over. 6. Practice social distancing, not social isolation. Utilize online channels to keep in touch with friends, family, and loved ones. 7. Avoid maladaptive coping techniques such as drinking and smoking excessively or self-harm. 8. Educate children, the elderly, and loved ones on social distancing, quarantine, and how to keep safe. 9. Take care of yourself by eating healthy and sleeping well. 10. Create time for self-development via reading and online webinars. 11. If you or anyone you know has a physical or mental health problem, please use your medications and encourage them to do same. 12. Reach out, seek help, and get help should the need arise for your health. Remember that there is no health without mental health.
Welcome back. You're still on to AD4 TV Radio News Update. On the international scene, Europe is taking its latest steps out of lockdown today as Switzerland reopens shops and Norway resumes teaching at primary schools, while compulsory mask wearing comes in force in Germany. Swedish shoppers are returning to garden centers and hair salons today as the army prepares to hand out 1 million face masks a day to shops and businesses. In Norway, children aged 6 to 10 were back at schools in classes of up to 15 pupils, despite concerns from some parents that the reopening is premature. Meanwhile, mask wearing is compulsory on public transportation for all of Germany's 83 million people starting today, with some states imposing stricter rules. Spain yesterday allowed children back outside after lifting one of Europe's toughest lockdown measures, while Italy has also set out its plans to end the quarantine. In another development, Australia's supermarket giant Coles became the first supermarket in the country to remove limits on toilet paper on Tuesday. Weeks of panic buying due to the coronavirus pandemic had left the item in short supplies on supermarket shelves. A spokeswoman in Australia said further limits are expected to be removed as customer demand continues to stabilize and more categories see supply levels return to normal. Meanwhile, Woolworths and Aldi are yet to announce whether they will follow suit. Still on COVID-19, Sweden has shut down 5 bars and restaurants in capital Stockholm for failing to respect social distancing guidelines. Stockholm health official Per Fullin identified the main problem as overcrowding both inside the premises and outdoors, while stating that the closure was immediate until further notice. Sweden allowed schools for under 16s, cafes, bars, restaurants and businesses to stay open while urging businesses to guarantee compliance with social distancing guidelines. Data suggests that most Swedes are voluntarily practicing social distancing. However, photos have circulated in recent weeks of Stockholmers sitting at cramped restaurant terraces or queuing closely together outside nightclubs. Among other restrictions Sweden has imposed are bans on visits to retirement homes and gatherings of more than 50 people. The country has recorded 18,640 infections and 2,194 deaths. Meanwhile, restaurants opened up to dine-in patrons in at least 3 states in the U.S. on Monday. In Texas, Governor Greg Abbott allowed movie theaters, malls, and eateries to attend to customers in their establishments. Amid the coronavirus pandemic, restaurants in Tennessee, Georgia, and Alaska also opened doors to customers with new rules such as temperature checks before entry and logging of customer information for possible contact tracing. Construction workers are also being allowed back on the job in Vermont and other states. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine on Monday said the return to normalcy in Ohio will happen slowly with the reopening of many healthcare offices on Friday. Retail stores, however, will need to wait 2 weeks before they can open, while imposing a no max, no service rule. Now to sports. The National Basketball Association in the United States has pushed back the reopening date to some team practice facilities for at least a week until May 8th, stating that the extra time was needed in part to make sure player training options will be safe and controlled to reduce the threat of coronavirus infection. The NBA cautioned that the May 8th date is not firm and that the timing may be pushed back if developments warrant. Players and staff members will have to wear face masks inside the training facilities except when working out, and a minimum distance of 12 feet would be required as a buffer between players and staff working with them. Orlando Magic spokesman Joel Glass said the foremost priority remains everyone's health and well-being. Therefore, the NBA's guidelines as well as instructions from public health experts will be strictly observed. NBA players are still prohibited from working out at public health clubs, fitness centers, and gyms. As football faces a congested schedule of games as a result of the coronavirus pandemic, FIFA has made a temporary plan to allow teams to use 5 substitutes per game. FIFA detailed the plan this Monday to help prevent more injuries due to potential player work overload as competitions catch up with the backlog. The proposal gives competition organizers the option of letting teams use 5 substitutes instead of 3 in 90 minutes and a 6th in knockout games that go to extra time. That is an 84 TV radio news update coming to you live from Abuja, Nigeria's capital. You can join the conversation on our website at www.84tvradio.com. Please follow us on our social media platforms at 84 TV Radio on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn and Instagram. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel at 84 TV Radio. Many thanks for watching. I am Oyari Oche.